guys, how's it going? It's Douglas here at Drumboy Productions, and today we're going to be taking a look at some stuff that I recently received for my birthday. A couple of these items are things I picked up for myself, but a majority of this stuff were gifts given to me by friends. And a good majority of this stuff is Scream or Ghostface related, but some items are non-Scream and Ghostface related, so let's go ahead and take a look at those first. So the first two pieces we're going to be taking a look at were both gifted to me by my good friend Gavin Harden. Gavin picked both of these up for me a while back, and I just recently went and visited him, helped him get his Odorous costume finished up for Pensacon, and he went ahead and gave me these in person. So here we have the Bendy Figs Universal Monsters line Creature from the Black Lagoon. This thing is pretty freaking sweet. Now, as some of you may notice, this is not the classic creature design. I do believe that this whole line is supposed to be their versions or modern day versions of classic creatures. Looking at the others, yeah, they are updated versions, but we have the classic creature artwork there on the back. There are the other figures in the line, and these are fully posable figures, which is really cool. I kind of want to take them out of the box and pose them, but I actually kind of like the packaging on it. This design somewhat reminds me of like the Monster Squad version of the creature. So yeah, really cool design. And the next piece we have here is a reaction figure with really cool packaging. Here we have Maria from Metropolis. Of course, a classic black and white film, and as you can see, fully chromed out figure there. Chrome on the packaging as well, or foil I should say. Here on the back, of course, that very classic image. Both of these gifts very cool and unique because these are items that I don't have anything else of in the collection. I don't have any Creature from the Black Lagoon stuff in the collection other than my tattoo. And really nothing Metropolis-wise unless you count ghost references. And these next two gifts were given to me on the same day as those previous two. These were given to me by my good friend Dylan Stanbro, and here we have some really cool hockey masks. A Part 6 and Part 7 hockey mask. Now when these were gifted to me, they were both damaged, they both had cracks. This one is still pretty noticeable. Going down the front of the face there, pretty much from the axe cut all the way down to the chevron, and or at least that vent hole. And then this one was also cracked on this side. It's maybe slightly noticeable, but not nearly as noticeable. And they were both in need of repaints as well, so I went ahead, repainted them, did some work on them, fixed them up. But I believe they are both movie mold hawks. I don't know for sure, but looking at the shape of them, they at least look pretty close. They were pretty nice hockey masks. They had no artist signatures inside of them previously, so no clues on the origins of those hawks, but I went ahead and finished them up, and now they will be on display in the collection. That's pretty much going to cover it for the non-Ghostface stuff, so a huge thank you to Gavin and Dylan for those gifts. I love the hockey masks, and of course love the figures as well. And next up, we're moving into the Ghostface stuff. I almost forgot to show you guys these next two items, but these would technically count as birthday gifts, even though I did get them for myself. These were some pieces that I picked up for my birthday because I went and saw Scream again for my birthday. So this time I was able to score one of the Scream promo cups and one of the rectangular popcorn buckets. Unfortunately, they did not have the large round buckets, but I was able to at least get this set. And of course, sentimental because I got to see the movie and eat popcorn out of this and drink out of this. So cool to have those in the collection, and just as collectible pieces, they're pretty cool. And the next item I gotta show you guys is something that unfortunately my theater did not have, but fortunately Dennis Suazo sent in a full stack of these promotional posters from his theater. I have not counted them, there's probably at least 20 here, so of course I'm going to be keeping one or two for myself, and then the rest of them I'll probably be giving away over time. And be sure to say thank you, Dennis, in the comment section down below, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have one of these, and probably some of you out there wouldn't be getting one. The next item would have segued a lot better with an earlier piece, but still, really cool piece, and this is something I did pick up for myself for my birthday because unfortunately, I don't have one of these. I did have one, and I let it go, just gave it away, and then passed them up while they were still in stores to get myself another one. So, what I'm talking about is, of course, the Ghostface reaction figure. I've been on the hunt for another one of these for quite some time, and unfortunately they don't pop up super often, and when they do, they're quite pricey. And, as some of you might be able to tell, unfortunately, this one kind of has been taped back. It was never opened, but they said that the glue had released, and it doesn't look like it was ever ripped open, but apparently the adhesive for this plastic bubble did release, so they just taped it back on. which the tape isn't holding very well either. I'm not going to try and remove the tape out of fear of damaging the card, but I'll just leave it how it is and display it. I really love these figures, but unfortunately did not pick up the full line. I really didn't think they would be quite as collectible as they ended up being, but goes to show what I know. Pretty much anything Ghostface-wise is going to be collectible, and obviously with many of these other franchises on the back, of course, they're going to become pretty sought after as well, and it is a Funko item, so should have thought about that. In this line, they also had Eric Draven from The Crow, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street, Michael Myers from Halloween, Sam from Trick or Treat, Pinhead from Hellraiser 3 specifically, and Ghostface from Scream. Now that is one interesting thing. Obviously, it says that Pinhead is from Hellraiser 3 specifically, but Ghostface here is supposed to be just from Scream, but the image is from Scream 2. And then Jason is Part 3 Jason, but on his card it shows Part 6 Jason, so very interesting packaging choices, but still pretty cool collectibles. Alright guys, and next up we have a massive box of masks that were sent in by my good friend Samir. Samir sent in some pretty cool pieces. He said these are specifically items he noted that I did not have in the collection, so let's go ahead and take a look. So first up out of the box we have the EL Ghostface. Some of you may remember these from a few years back. This is probably one of the worst Ghostface masks in my opinion. I just really don't like the look of it at all. I don't really like the finishing. The fact that they did not fill in that nostril, which is something that's always supposed to be done. It's never supposed to be the separated nostrils. That's always supposed to be painted across. Just overall, it wasn't a great product, and they were actually pretty expensive because this one was $27. And it does light up, just so you guys can see. That's what the light up looks like. Here, I'll turn the lights out in here and you can see it a little bit better. But overall, just not a really great design, and unfortunately most of these did come damaged to distributors. I know a lot of people that got them had issues with them, and even when they're not damaged, they still don't look super great. Pretty cool mask. Unfortunately, it is missing one barb, but I may be able to get that replaced so we can get it hung up in here. Ooh, this is going to be a hot collector's item, guys. Don't forget, new movie coming out next year. This might be a pricey mask. Might want to go after these. But in all seriousness, here we have a tagged ultra white. I don't know specifically where this came from. I think it said it on the tag there, but I didn't read it. It does not say where it came from specifically, but the manufacturing date says that this is an April to June 2018 copy, so there you have it. Another ultra white for the collection, and a bit later copy. This next mask is really cool, but unfortunately it did get a bit damaged from shipping, I think, or maybe it was like that whenever he sent it, but nonetheless, still a really cool piece. I'll have to figure out a way to get the tag reattached, but here we have a fade in and out mask. Now, fade in and out is kind of a wide term for Ghostface, I guess, because they called a more recent fade in and out mask the one where it has like the fade in and out mouth only in red and green. Then they have this fade in and out, and I think there's another one where it's just the cheeks and it's completely different mold, vinyl mask. They've called a lot of different products the fade in and out, so that can get a bit confusing, but this is still a pretty cool one. Still has the Try Me attached, so there you can see it, guys. Fading in and out. Pretty bright glow. I actually really like this mask. They're pretty cool, and of course they did something pretty similar where it has crackled black paint over the face called the Smoldering. Unfortunately never got one of those either, but really cool mask. Thank you, Samir, and yet again have to figure out a way to get that reattached so we can get it hung up. And here's another mask that shockingly I did not have one of. The normal plastic mask. Of course I'm talking about the dollar store plastic mask. You know, a lot of people do complain about the ultra whites, and as far as vinyl masks are concerned, they're definitely the worst ones, I think, but it could be worse, guys. We could only have the plastic masks. Yet again, another one where the tag is unattached, but it was included, so I'll have to figure out a way to get that possibly reattached so we can get it hung up in here somewhere. And the next one we have here is a true classic, the one that everyone grew up with and loved as a kid. The one that you can find littering any Goodwill that you go to, pretty much. The original bleeding masks. Now I say original, but this one is a Scream 4 era packaging one. The one I grew up with was a bit different. Black and red packaging, of course, and it was like the full thing sealed off. You guys know what I'm talking about. But this version of the packaging was a bit updated as it did not use nearly as much cardboard, and of course was pretty much just a very large header tag. This one, yet again, is also unattached, but everything's still there, so I'll have to figure out a way to get that re-tagged and get it hung up in here. And included, we have a non-Ghostface mask. Here we have what originally was called the Viper. Now, this is an interesting one because, for whatever reason, this mask and the what we now call Viper mask, or the Viper face mask, were both produced around the same time. Originally, this mask was called Viper, and the other one was called Fang, even though clearly this is the one with fangs, and the other one resembles a viper more so. So a bit of interesting trivia on the names there, but nonetheless still a very, very cool vintage style Fun World mask, so greatly appreciated. And here we reached the bottom of the barrel, the worst of the worst, and I do mean that. Are you trying to poison me, Samir? Sending me these kind of masks? Are you serious? If you guys want to know what I'm so worked up over, here we have a lovely Zombie Collector's Edition costume mask. Now the paint job on it looks really cool. Nice quality zombie mask. But, you see that fabric? That's a problem. As many of you know, the Collector's Edition style fabric causes these purple or black spots to pop up all over your mask. And if you look closely on this one, you should be able to see it in quite a few spots. So I will have to put this one into quarantine immediately to not infect the rest of the masks in here. What am I even doing this in this room? But still, it's a really cool mask and I do appreciate it. Alright, and those of you who have made it this far are in for a real treat. This last mask is a very odd one. Definitely the weirdest vintage Ghostface mask I own, and probably one of the weirdest looking too. So, recently this thing popped up on eBay, and initially I, like many of you, thought it was repainted. If you look at it, it looks like it's been repainted, looks like it was spray painted, possibly something like that. There were not a whole lot of images in the listing, so I asked the seller for some more pictures. They sent some shots of the inside showing that the mask was orange inside as well, and I could tell by the stitching that it had not been reshrouded. So, I went ahead and picked it up because it was a fairly reasonable price, and the only other Ghostface out of my fluorescent Ghostface mask collection that has any damage to it really is my Gen 2 orange. The rest of the set, pretty much mint condition masks, all great shape. I'm really happy with those copies. But my orange Gen 2, while I did love the copy, the zombie orange, and it is a beauty, still, I wanted one with at least a perfect face, where it didn't have any damage to the face. And this one, I don't really know if it does that, but it's still an interesting mask. So, without further ado, here is the orange mask in question. Go ahead, take it in. Look at that. It's kind of, a little ugly, huh? It's beautiful but ugly at the same time. Now check this out. Look at how thin it is. How floppy it is. It is super thin, super floppy vinyl, and in fact, this is the thinnest Ghostface mask I own or ever have owned or have seen. I don't know how well you guys can see my fingers through the forehead here, because it is fluorescent. Might be hard to pick up on camera, but you can definitely see all that weird cloudiness around the eyes. That's because that's the eye mesh glued inside of there. So you can see the eye mesh through the eyes, which makes it look a little ugly, but it's just super thin vinyl. And yet again, looks like it's painted, but it's not. I can flip it inside out and show you guys. I flipped it inside out here just to show you guys it is orange all the way through. You can see the edge of the thin vinyl there is orange. It's not painted on the inside and outside, and that's pure factory stitching there, so I do believe this to be an original mask. Now, here is a weird question about it. Is this an original Fun World piece? Which I do think it could be, because the paint does seem to match, the quality, the mesh, the fabric, everything else seems to match that this would be a Fun World made mask. However, during a small period of time, Forum Novelties actually did recast the Fun World Goofy Ghost, aka the Sarah Spook, and the Gen 2 Ghostface, and we're producing those in multiple different colors and multiple different qualities. So this could possibly just be a Forum Novelties very rare knockoff Gen 2 orange Ghostface, or it could be just a very, very weird normal Fun World Ghostface. I'm really thinking it is a genuine Fun World one, just looking at the quality of the mouth paint, the eye mesh as compared to those Forum Novelties versions that had popped up, but like I said, I cannot argue that it's a very odd looking one. And just for reference here, I want to give you guys a side-by-side with the Zombie Orange Gen 2. This is the one that was sent to me by John Plonsky a while back as a gift, and this thing is beautiful. I love the shape of it. I actually do like the rips and tears in the shroud, as it does add a lot of character. The only thing I wasn't fond of on it is if you look here at the nose, there's been nostrils cut out. So that is damage to the mask itself, and that can be repaired, but that is a reparation. And looking at these, they're both a little unique, we'll put it that way, in their own ways, but both have damaged, ripped up shrouds. This one's actually a little bit worse, I would say. They both have odd things about the vinyl, like this one being super glossy, super vibrant, super thin, soft vinyl. This one's a thicker, but soft, not quite as soft as the other one, but still soft vinyl, but a bit more pale. But regardless of condition, they're both very beautiful masks and both kind of unique, even though they are the same exact mold. If you compare this cheek, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's some little dimples there in the cheek abrasions as we would call them. And then look at this cheek, it has the same markings. So these are both from the same mold, but have varying qualities of vinyl, but they do have the same type of fabric shroud. It's the same style fabric. So they're the same even though they're not the same. There you have it. And with that being said, I think that does it for today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to give a thank you to Dennis for sending those posters. Without you sending those, I wouldn't have one, and several of you out there probably also wouldn't have one, so be sure to say thank you, Dennis. Huge thank you to Samir for the huge box of masks that are all unique types for the collection. I know you wanted to send specifically ones that I did not have, and you absolutely accomplished that. All of these are new styles for the collection. Massive thank you to Dylan for the hockey masks as well. Did not have a Part 6 or Part 7 currently in the collection, but I did have a Part 6 bust that needed a Part 6 hawk, and now it has one. And thank you to Gavin for the awesome figures. And last but not least, thank you all for watching the video and supporting the channel over the years. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Love you all, and see you next time.